we're a hot mic right now.
Already?
All right, whenever you're ready, Grant. Okay. All right, well, we'd like to welcome everyone into the first ever live streamed edition of the Coach Smith Show. We're out here at the Evangel Sports Complex right down on the field, where tomorrow night your Evangel Lightning will be hosting the Lighthouse Warriors for state championship in the Alabama Sports Christian Sports Conference, ACSC. So first, let's talk a bit. First, Coach, welcome into the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it.
And as always, we'll talk about last week's game, the rival victory over the Ezekiel Knights in the semifinal round, 42-6. Were you happy with the win?
Yeah, I'm happy with any win, but yes, that was a good win for us. So
Absolutely. So the guys came out quick, punched them in the mouth. Big hits early on. Defense played lights out all night. Offense ran up 35 points in the first half, got up by 35. You couldn't have written a better script, really, for that semifinal matchup.
You know, that's what we asked them to do. We told them we wanted to start fast, and we did. You know, we get the ball. Usually we defer to the second half. We won the toss, and we wanted the ball, and we went and stuck it in the end zone on the 4th and 16 play, which was a great pass and catch by Eli and Judah. And, you know, you wonder, is that in? Because we're, you know, our view's from about where we're sitting now.
Right.
And Amy Barlow took a picture, and she showed us later on where Judah's toe was dragging. And one foot was up and one toe was down, so it was a great call.
That's awesome.
And we were off and running, and then when they got the football, the first play, it was pretty exciting first couple of plays of the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of oohs and ahs from that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and we were watching it upstairs with the delay on YouTube and could see that he did get that foot in, and it was and of course, as you said, Amy Barlow always doing a fantastic job with the pictures, has photo evidence as well.
That's right.
So, well, tonight, and I should mention we've got Grant Guinan, one of our ECS students, helping with the production tonight, so appreciate you, Grant. And all of our students that help out and volunteer parents as well every week. So the format tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about the state championship, of course, coming up tomorrow night. We're also going to talk about we're going to bring in the coordinators, and we've yet to have any coordinators on the Coach Smith show this year, so that'll be fun. And then we'll have
interesting. That's for sure. That'll be interesting.
Divulge all their strategic secrets, and then we'll have a couple of seniors at the end of the show, so looking forward to that as well.
That'll be real interesting.
That's right.
I can't wait for one of them to talk because he's been here for 3 years and we had never heard him say a word.
Yeah, when you said you were picking him, I was like, okay.
I couldn't believe he said yes.
Yeah, so just to spill the beans a little bit, Eli Whitfield for the offense and Caden Jones for the defense will be joining us a little bit later on.
One of them's good at talking.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna put which one it is.
We won't have any problems getting answers out of one of them.
None.
Yeah, for sure. So tomorrow night's game, playing here at the Evangel Sports Complex. We need everybody to come out. We need a great crowd, obviously. State championship. First time we've played in the state championship since 20.
No, we played in it last.
20. That's right. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah,
we avenged our last year.
I appreciate
you. Just had that discussion. I'm trying to forget it, obviously, but we avenged our loss in the state championship last week to Ezekiel. But the Lighthouse Warriors have actually, this will be their second appearance in 3 years.
That's correct.
So yeah, so great to see. You know, the Warriors. That program is definitely turning a corner and battling for state championships. Love to see East Central and Southern Christian down the road as their newer programs. I'd love to see them maybe competing for a state championship one day. But tomorrow night it's us and Lighthouse, and so obviously we got the better of them up there in Pinson a little while ago. What do you expect to see from them tomorrow night?
Yeah, everybody that's in 8-man knows that Coach JJ, he's one of the best 8-man coaches. We know he'll have some new wrinkles for us. We've been working on everything that they've done this year. Coach Clay's done a good job this week getting the defense ready. Hagen's done a good job getting the offense ready. So we'll see. We know he'll throw us some wrinkles, but our kids have played enough 8-man now that we'll just adjust. If they come out with something new, we'll adjust.
That's right.
I don't really worry about that too much anymore. They may burn us one time. If they do, then we'll fix it. And but we know this: our kids are going to play hard.
That's right. And I didn't mention this. It's really been a season of dominance for the Lightning. A 10-0 record, averaging almost 54 points a game, giving up less than 9. As Coach Blake Thompson mentioned to me in a text a little earlier this week, a plus 34 turnover margin this year. That's just, I believe you said 1990s Tecmo Bowl numbers. Blakey standing over there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's just crazy. I mean, that's 3.5 turnovers a game better than the opponent. So that's just amazing. But the first time we played Lighthouse, I don't think the final score depicted how good that team really is.
Yeah, they had a big injury a few weeks before with their number one running back.
Yeah.
And then in the game against us, the kid broke their second running back, who is really good, by the way. He breaks 2 toes.
Mm-hmm.
But the kid played for 2 quarters on 2 broke toes. So they were filling in players. You know, they wasn't expecting that, of course.
Right.
And so Coach JJ, he was kind of grasping for straws, I believe, a little bit, you know, trying to figure out what can we do till we get to practice on Monday and get a new game plan. And so tonight they've had several weeks to practice now with the team they have at this time. So we expect a battle. I know they're going to come here and play hard. I know that.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're looking forward to that matchup again. We need to have a packed house here at the sports complex tomorrow night. We will be streaming it on YouTube, but obviously we would, if you're in town, and we would much rather have you come out to the sports complex. It's a terrific environment on Friday nights. Bring the whole family. Bring a chair or two probably because it's going to be standing room only if you don't. So anything else you want to say about that before we bring in the coordinators?
I would get here early.
Get here
as
early.
you can see, there's already some chairs set up. But
Yeah.
by about 2 o'clock tomorrow, there'll be chairs on both ends of this field set up because we don't have a lot of seating. And
That's right.
the best seat in the house is a folding chair, is a lawn chair sitting out on the side of the field. And that's what makes this place such a special place, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we don't have all the big fancy bleachers, but, man, I told the kids today, you know, everybody hadn't got a scaffolding that's 18-foot tall.
Yeah, that's right. Our I don't want to say, but is that a redneck? A little bit of a redneck press box up there.
Well, I can tell you one thing: for it to be redneck, we paid a lot.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh me. So I'm going to pull up the YouTube stream here, and if you're watching at home, you should be able to chat us up and ask a question if you want to.
Oh, they can't ask questions.
They can. If they're a subscriber, they can ask a question. So I'm going to pull that up real quick.
You gotta subscribe.
So while we're doing that, we'll bring the the coordinators on in. They are also assistants.
Don't you love it as they're coming up? Don't you love it when people say, I need a shout-out? So my son now is dead. He said, I'm expecting some kind of a shout-out. So he don't do what Coach Welch did to his arm. Have you heard about Welch? You heard what Coach Welch did?
No, I did not. I'm looking at the stream here.
So I get a picture this morning. I get a text from Coach Welch, and wasn't doing anything.
I noticed he was missing today.
Well, I'll show you a picture when we get off air. I'll tell you why. He tore his bicep. It's rolled up.
Oh, my goodness.
He's going to have surgery next week. I mean.
Playing on the monkey bars? Or
No, he was actually just taking some pictures for Mandy. She's got a house she was listening. She got him to go take pictures, and he said he was moving something, and it's a big old knot.
Well, who's going to throw passes in warm-up now?
All I know is he better bring that candy.
Oh, me. Okay, so we've got a few followers on the YouTube channel. No questions yet. So we'll move to the coordinators now. Get my questions back up. Well, basically, I'm just going to ask some open-ended questions here. So I've got, obviously, you can see on the YouTube stream, Hagan Joyner to coach's left, Clay Romano to my right, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator for the Lightning. First, I want to mention, well, I already mentioned the points differential so far this year. Just a tremendous job by both of you guys. Clay, I'll start with you. This is your first year as a defensive coordinator for the Lightning. Just talk a little bit about your path to Evangel and how that all went down with you becoming the – Coach has talked about it a little bit in the past on the Coaches Show, but I want to hear your side of the story.
Absolutely. Well, first off, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
extremely blessed to be here at Evangel and very thankful for Coach Smith for giving me the opportunity. It's been just a true blessing in my life to be able to have an impact with these kids and be around this team. He does a fantastic job, so all the credit goes to him. But, yeah, when I graduated a long time ago, 2001, and I was a coach and a teacher in public school. So I was a high school history teacher and a basketball coach out at St. Clair County High School and Springville High School, where I was a linebacker coach my first year, went into a defensive coordinator role, and was able to do that for a couple of years. And then ended up having a lot of kids, needed to make a little more money, and got out and went into sales and did that for quite some time. And then I got my old a guy I used to work for who's coaching at Helena now, Coach Keith Maple, called me and asked me to help out with Helena's junior high.
Okay.
I did that for a couple of years while the kids were in middle school and got the bug back. And Cole started getting up here in high school, and then Hunter decided he wanted to come over here. And I went and knocked on Coach Smith's door and begged him to say, hey, you think I could help out a little bit? And he was kind enough to let me do that, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just going to say that's one of the fortunate things about being a part of Evangel is, you know, if you got some football knowledge and you're a parent, I mean, come on.
We'll use it.
Well, Coach Smith would certainly find
pay
a role
them
for
good
you.
now. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
they
I
got
know.
hats. They got some shirts.
Some fantastic swag.
Get to eat Friday nights.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's about
So
that's about it.
it is an all-volunteer coaching staff, and we appreciate certainly all of y'all. So it's been a bit of a transition year, but it was really more just of a reload, basically. I mean, you nicely plugged in where there were some needs. We lost our entire defensive line from last year. We lost Dylan Weathers in the middle of the defense from a linebacker perspective. Harris Black in the back end. I'm probably missing some, but there was a lot that we lost from that team last year. But I would say, soup to nuts, this is probably a stronger unit. I think the stats bear that out. Just talk a little bit about how you were thinking about that going into the season and how to fill roles and everything like that.
Sure, absolutely. As you can tell from this year, we're not going to scare anybody getting off the bus. I think our heaviest kid on defense weighs about 185 pounds. We probably average 160. And the one thing that Coach Smith and I were talking about coming into the year is that, you know, one of the strengths of the kids we knew were going to be on defense was the speed. And we wanted to try to utilize that speed and create a game plan and a strategy that really kind of elevated that. And that last year's unit was really strong against the run. We did a really good job of stopping the run last year. Where we had a little trouble was playing man-to-man against some athletes. And, you know, you throw a 50-50 ball and you got a guy that's taller that can jump. And you look at our three losses, Grace and Ezekiel twice. I mean, it was deep balls and getting caught up in some man-to-man. And then when you play that man on the outside, you know, they can run you off and run a run out there. So Coach Smith and I were talking about it a lot. It's like, you know, we need to run a zone. It's really hard to run a zone. And so we've kind of got a hybrid little zone look. I don't know how much I should say on here. Is that we got other teams listening? I don't know.
Well, if they hadn't figured it out by now.
Right. But it's really allowed us to shut down the run, and then when we get in definite passing downs, we can mix in a little man because we know that it's coming. So it's really helped. But all the credit really goes to the kids. It's the buying into that mentality of eight men to the ball and the speed of running to that ball. And if you watch the last few games, you're seeing Grady Watkins make plays across the field, and he's the backside defensive end. If you look at Clay Stanton, you know, they threw a pass and Caden got caught up in man and missed it, and then Clay Stanton tackles him for 6 yards playing nose guard because they're buying into that running to the ball. And these kids have bought into that concept, which is you can put whatever scheme you want out there, but if you don't have kids that have bought into the concept of running to the football, attacking, and playing as a unit, you're not going to have much success, and they've done a really good job of that.
So would you say this is maybe one of the most coachable units you've been around?
The kids are extremely coachable. I mean, and you know, they want to be great, and that's the thing. When they bought in and want to be great, and they listen to what we're telling them all day. I mean, it's, you know, each week I think we've been able to put more and more on them. It's like we built from week 1 to week 2. You know, we were starting in that 2-man front because we're seeing a lot of 3-man line. Now you get to Freedom, you get to Lighthouse, you get to Ezekiel. They use that tight end, so we had to go back to having a little note, but we were still able to use some of our cover 2 principles. So they're really smart, and
Yeah.
we put a lot on them each week, and they take that. But at the end of the day, you can be wrong and you can still be right if you run to that football,
Right.
and that's what they bought into.
Yeah, and they do it with authority when they get there for sure. And just tremendous job by you and Coach Thompson, Coach Welch.
Absolutely.
Just a tremendous job with that unit all year long.
I would like to say something about that is that Coach Thompson with the D-line and Coach Welch with the defensive backs, I mean, we meet together every Sunday with Coach Smith, but as a group, I mean, those two have worked their tails off to help with the game plan and, to put the work in at practice, and you can tell their units are shining. I mean, we got 24, 26 interceptions now, and the D-line is all over the place. So hats off to them. They do a fantastic job.
Yep. And another stat Coach Thompson gave me this week was that the D-line had half the tackles last week. I
They sure
believe.
did.
And that's just amazing. I mean, I wasn't on a headset announcing last week, but I was up there with the guys helping with the production, and on one of the sacks or quarterback hurries or something, I looked over at Chad Parks and I gave him the Matador Olay. I mean, it's no knock on Ezekiel or any, but it's been like that all year. I mean, our guys have lived in the backfield and just tremendously quick and well coached with the scheme, as you said. So just a tremendous job all the way around. So, all right, Coach, I'm going to turn it over to you now. What do you want to ask Coach Romano about?
I know everything he's thinking most of the time.
Well, yeah.
No, I would like to say that I do appreciate how much work that those 3 guys put in, but that guy right there beside you, he is what we call a film nut. He watches film. I mean, you need to ask his wife just how much film he watches. I think he gets in trouble.
I think you could give us some feedback on our broadcast quality. Maybe we could get some pointers there too.
Y'all do a great job.
All right. Well, Coach, we appreciate you. I'm going to turn my attention to Hagan now on the offense. So, Coach, first, same with you. Talk about your journey to Evangel, just for folks out there watching that don't know. You've been around the program a lot longer, and just talk about your journey.
What year is this? 6? Is it our 6th year?
It's our 6th
6 years.
6 years. So I guess it's been 6 years, which is crazy. But 6 years ago, Coach Smith called and asked if I'd, want to just help. He knew coaching's always been my passion. I mean, he's my uncle. I played for him at Cornerstone, so I'd go over to his house on. Back then, you'd go and meet a coach and you'd trade films. You'd meet him at a gas station somewhere and trade, and I'd go over to his house on Sundays and we'd watch film. So he knew my passion for it, and I said yes. I came over here that year. Was Coach Gunn was here, and that was he was offensive coordinator that year, and then he left after the first year. And Coach Smith asked me if I would be interested in being an offensive coordinator and calling plays, and it meant a lot because he trusted me with it.
Yeah.
He didn't. I know now looking back, I know how hard that had to be to say, hey, I'm gonna let you run the
Not
offense.
micromanage it.
Yeah, and now he'd step in there. Yeah, sometimes run the ball. I get a lot of run the ball, and there were some bumps, but overall, I've learned a ton over the last 6 years. The biggest thing to me about this year is that we don't have no new kids come in. Right, I'm grateful for all the new kids we've had in the past, but this year was the easiest job transitioning over the summer because I would call something, and we've got our system that we run. We don't do a lot of teams I see do memorization. They'll call a play, they'll call Florida, and Florida means something. Well, then you get in the game in the second quarter and you can't run Florida. Well, you draw something up on the board and it's all memorization.
Yeah.
We have a system that we run, so we're calling plays off that system to tell guys where to go. And our guys now are so caught up that I just start a sentence and Eli will go finish it in the huddle, right?
Right.
And it's the easiest thing to get on a Friday night. You're struggling. Okay, Eli can come over the sideline. I can say, hey, flip that play, do this, put this guy here, and he just goes in the huddle and does it, right?
Yeah.
And it's made it easy for me. The guys have made it easy because they go out and execute, and they make it look a lot easier and more simple than what it is.
Yeah.
But that's hats off to the guys.
Right.
And this is the first year where I haven't had a major skill player that was trying to catch up to speed in the first week. And so from the get-go, we've been up to speed.
Right. Christian Chapman joining, I guess, after the season started
Yeah,
last year.
Dawson Humphreys joined after the season started. Jones,
Bradley.
Davis.
Jet came over that one summer. So we've had a ton of every year we've had that. And this year we didn't have it. Everyone that started on offense and started on defense to start were here last year, so they're bought in, they're committed, and we say sold out and committed, and that's the truth. It's not some complicated process. It's the simple things that these guys do that Coach Clay said they want to be great.
Yeah.
And they go out and show that and execute.
Yeah. And I've noticed to that point, it seems like watching our offense versus watching the opponent's offense, ours, with the exception maybe freedom, seems to be the most multiple in terms of the formations that we throw at the defense and the different schemes that you try to run offensively. And I think that's definitely you can do that when you have
Exactly.
guys that have been around the program for a while. So and just to want to get this out there, how's it been with having? We kind of talked about it, but Coach Smith's first year with the offensive line, has that been?
Oh yeah, it's been it's been great, and not to I love Coach Wolf had the offensive line over the last few years, and Coach Wolf did a great job with the guys, but we just changed some things up schematically, and these guys they get after it's less thinking and more hitting. That's the way I phrase it. They fire off the ball, and so. It's been great. We're able to run the ball a lot more effectively than we have been in the past. So
That's that wing team mentality.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. You hit them in the mouth.
Hey, we ran it back in the 90s, and it was pretty effective.
It'll still work today.
Oh, let's see. I want to bring up a stat here in a minute, Grant, but before we do that, you've been fortunate, and we're going to bring Eli in a little bit. The 6 years you've been here, you've had a couple pretty good quarterbacks, right?
Not bad.
Well, what's crazy is, the first year when Eli came out here, the first year, no offense to Eli, but he was a baseball player Eli's over in the corner, but he didn't know a football term. He didn't know gets to the line of scrimmage. What I say now? Nothing. No, I don't think he sat at home on Saturdays and watched a lot of football.
Yeah.
But we had Tyler here. Tyler takes him under his wing, and Eli does the same with Will Welch coming up, and it's just this mentality of our guys. This season. We've been fortunate enough to be up in a lot of games, and instead of coming here on the sideline and sitting down because they don't get an extra touchdown pass or an extra 100 yards, they're watching the guys and helping them develop, and that's why we don't miss a beat. It's not, yes, we have to do our job, but it's those guys buying in. If they don't buy in, it doesn't matter what we tell them to do. And the quarterback who's actually out there, Eli sees things, comes and tells Will, and Will's watching. It was the same way for Eli under Tyler, and I just love that aspect of just growing that way. I let them handle it a lot more than me.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about the future. And this is for anybody that wants to answer. We're going to lose a lot again this year. Of course, we got a game to play tomorrow night. We got Panama City next week. I'm not jumping the gun, but what excites y'all about the future? You mentioned Will Welch. Quarterback. Is there any other offensive players, defensive players that excite you from maybe the freshman and sophomore classes coming up?
I would say offensive line wise, there's some guys that stand over here. It's not like there's not a massive drop off. It's not like we have the guys on the field and there's a big drop off in these guys.
Right. And
these guys are coming in. We've got Will, we've got Hunter. We got Ethan Stallings still coming back on the line. Colton Duro has been a great. We have different pace of backs. Hunter's kind of a hybrid. He can do both, catch the ball in the backfield, put moves and hammer down. Colton's going to put two hands on the ball and run over you.
Colton he hadn't got many juke moves.
No. He's straightforward. And
Cody Boland's coming up.
Cody Boland. But there's a lot of guys up here on Friday night who are still learning and getting their chance to get in the game, and you can tell by small glimpses at the end of games that the future's bright.
Yep.
Yeah, and I would agree on the defensive side. That junior class is a large class for us, and they're really talented. And we've only got two seniors on defense. We've got Caden and we've got Judah. Now Caden, there no doubt is the gasoline that makes this engine roll. So finding a replacement for him is going to be a tough work. But we've got a really good, strong class. Judah on that back end is really good, but. When you think about a Cody Boland, you think about Wildcat, you think about Josh Lumen, who hadn't got, there's pieces that can play there. Chase, we've got a lot of good younger kids that are going to be able to step in and be in, a second season in the system. I think is going to even help them more. So I'm excited about next year.
Cool. Coach Smith, anything to add there?
Yeah, the one thing that I've always loved since I got here at Evangel is I never worry about it.
Yeah.
God has replenished us. Hagan will tell you there was a couple of years where we really didn't know what the team was going to look like, and we do pick up a Chase Jones and a
We're drawing on the board and putting who's at what position, and then you get to like a slot,
get to a slot and,
and there's
nobody to
not
put.
there's not a name to put there, and it's like there's no. we
But
don't-
they
and it just fills
always
in.
they get here, and it has been a blessing for us in some of the games, in the past and this year, that we've been able to get leads, and those kids get in there and they get game experience. Even though a lot of times on offense it's just running the football, but they're getting that game experience with the jersey on, the lights on, the people in the stands. I think Eli would be the first one to tell you that, his first 2 years he got in games because we got big leads because Tyler did what he was supposed
Right.
to do. And there wasn't a lot of nights he got to throw the ball, but he was taking, handing the ball off. He was running the offense.
Yeah.
And it's made a huge difference. And I believe it'll be the same for Will Welch. And I never worry about it. I know God's going to keep just sending the people that's supposed to be here.
Absolutely. Been very fortunate. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for the coordinators, guys. Anything else before we turn it over to the players?
Appreciate you having us.
Yes,
Yep,
sir.
thank you.
Absolutely. Mute their mics, Grant, 1 and 4. That way they don't hear all the clanging at home. Excuse me. That's the thing about the live stream is I can't go back and edit all the clearing of our throats and everything. So Caden is on my side, and Eli's on coach's side. And y'all can, and when you put those those headsets on, make sure that microphone's right up close to your lip there, so we can hear you better.
Oh, that's fine.
A little bit closer, Caden. A little bit closer. There you go. All right. You can unmute him now. You got it? Okay. All right. So go back to I meant to ask. Chad Parks did ask what kind of percentage. Hey, Hagan. Chad Parks did ask what percentage of run are we going to see tomorrow night? At least 10%. At least 10%.
Let me tell you, if it's just 10%, it'll be higher in the second half.
Coach will have some adjustments made at halftime.
I got a play sheet laying right over there. Don't I, Eli?
Always.
Always.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with Caden here to my right. Caden, middle linebacker for the Lightning, your second year in the program. So just tell us a little bit about your journey to Evangel and how you wound up here.
I was never planning on being homeschooled, but like when Corona happened,
Mm-hmm.
me and Kyle were playing baseball,
Yep.
and then all the games got canceled, and my mom had mentioned Evangel and homeschooling there, and Kyle for sure wanted it. I was a little iffy on it,
Mm-hmm.
but I do what he wants to do, and
Oh, really?
he does what I want to do.
That's
So
that
y'all are
that's that
twins.
twin power coming in.
Yeah. So, you're very athletic out there. You're all over the field. You seem like you enjoy hitting people a little bit. But let's talk a little bit about the cerebral part of playing linebacker in this defense. Do you call the defenses, the formations, and
Yes, sir.
alignments and everything like
I
that?
huddle them up before every play, but last Friday, Ezekiel was running it like fast plays, so we just didn't really huddle that much. But we all look at Coach Clay, and he
Mm-hmm.
tells us the plays.
Yeah.
Can you hear Coach Clay when y'all are on the field? Just asking.
Oh, he gives us like hand motions.
Yeah. So that's how y'all mainly communicates with the hand motions when when the other team's going fast like that. Cool. And then we mentioned you got a twin brother on the team, Kyle Jones, number 14. How did you wind up playing defense and he wind up playing offense?
I've always been more aggressive than him. But when we first came here, I thought he was going to play linebacker. I thought me and him were both going to play linebacker.
Yeah.
But then one day, I guess we were doing a 7v7,
Mm-hmm.
and Kyle was catching the ball really good.
Okay. So do you get it on offense sometimes too, though? Do you
I
enjoy
just
that?
block.
You just get in the block, okay. Can't get Eli to throw you any passes.
I mean, he did in the championship. I
Yeah.
didn't want it.
Yeah. you were trying to tell him to throw it to Kyle, weren't you?
I don't
pretty
even
cool.
think I was eligible in one of the plays.
Don't be telling that.
It's too late now. Can't do anything about it.
Yeah, but we might want to run that formation.
Yeah, that's true. Is there any kind of, I guess because one of y'all plays offense and one of y'all plays defense, it's kind of hard to have a sibling rivalry out there. But was there anything like that when maybe y'all were younger? Or
Not
Y'all-
really.
Not really. Y'all just kind of support each other. And
Yes, sir. When it comes to sports, we did. When it comes to arguing, no.
y'all argue?
A little bit.
Brothers argue? Come on now. Oh, me. So what about your plans for, you're a senior, so you got any plans for sports after high school or?
No, sir.
No?
I've never really
No?
wanted
Okay.
to.
Okay. You gonna just maybe go to school or go to work?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cool. Well, we sure do enjoy watching you on Friday night, and you and Kyle and all the seniors. And I'm going to turn my attention now to Eli and talk a little bit about the offense. So, Eli, you've been in the program 4 years, is that
4
correct?
years, yes, sir.
Right. And Coach Hagan already mentioned he got you to come out from baseball. Was that a tough decision? Because you are, I mean, if people don't know watching at home, you've already committed to play baseball at Shorter University.
Yes, sir.
And was that a hard decision, like not wanting to jeopardize your baseball career due to injury, and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was a hard decision, but, I mean, when Coach Smith tells you that, he's the coach for both teams, you don't really have much of an option.
Yeah, so you wanted that playing time in baseball,
Yeah.
so you had to come out for football too. Yeah, okay.
That's how I got him out the first time when he got here as an 8th grader.
8th grade.
Yeah. I walked up to him and I said, "You play football?" And he said, "No, sir." I said, "Well, you do now."
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. Well, we're going to bring up a QB comparison graphic now. So, as I mentioned earlier, Coach Joyner's had 2 pretty good quarterbacks his first 6 years here. Tyler Henderson, 17 through 19, and yourself, Eli, 20 through 22. Tyler, I don't think he started all the games his sophomore year, but maybe Camden.
He did, but he got hurt, and
Oh,
he
okay.
didn't start against Lighthouse one night.
Yeah, okay. And but your numbers are very similar at this stage of your career. I don't know if you've looked it up, but you're just shy of 6,000 yards passing. I think 98 touchdowns, 61% completion percentage. Just talk a little bit about what it was like to play with Tyler, under his mentorship a little bit. in the
Oh,
early days.
it was great. I mean, every day at practice, like Coach Hagan said, I didn't know that much because I hadn't played that much. But, I mean, he would call the play in the huddle and he'd come back and tell me and walk me through the steps. And I remember getting my first touchdown at Ezekiel, and he was the first dude to meet me when I came off the field. So him just being that big brother role,
Yeah.
it meant the world to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't think we included in the stats your freshman season, so I need to go back and update those.
He didn't have a whole lot.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Not a whole
It
lot.
wasn't a whole lot. I do remember looking at it. For some reason, I didn't.
He
put it.
handed it off quite a
Yeah,
bit when he
a
got
lot.
it.
Okay. Gotcha. So, did you take down that graphic already? Okay, cool. And you're by the way, you're already the leader for touchdown passes because Tyler had 82, I believe, and you've got 98. So you could potentially have 100 in your career. Do those records mean anything, or how important are they to have maybe all of those passing records when you graduate?
I mean, it's cool, but at the end of the day, if we don't come out and win the championship, then what does it matter?
Yep.
I mean, it's cool to have them and say that I have them, but if we don't win, then it really doesn't mean anything.
Cool. That's the right mindset. So what about you? Well, we already talked about you're going to Shorter.
Yes, sir.
If the head coach at Shorter is the head baseball coach is also the head football coach, are you playing?
If that happened again, I'd be playing football again. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, guys, we sure do appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Let me see if I've got any questions on the YouTube stream or I think I might have had a text or two come through.
I will say it's been nice to hear Caden's voice. I don't know if I've ever heard it that much.
I don't hear it that much, and I'm his quarterback.
Yeah, so for Coach Smith, we do have a question. There's more football going on this weekend than our game tomorrow night. You got a prediction on the score of the Mississippi State game Saturday? Chad Parks wants to know.
Chad trying to be funny. All I know is this: we got a Cadillac coaching us. That's all
right.
that matters.
That's
You know,
right. That's pretty cool to see.
It probably won't be real pretty for the boys in white.
Yeah.
Because we're on the road, so it won't be pretty. But it's okay.
Yeah. I was at that game. I think we talked about this a little bit last week, the Go Crazy Cadillac game.
Oh yeah, when the first play against
That,
Alabama,
man, that was
against that team from Tuscaloosa.
yeah, that was me being a fan of the other team. That was not too much fun to watch, but it was pretty
I enjoyed it.
amazing.
I enjoyed it pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Well, as always, guys, we wish you much success tomorrow night, and we're going to wrap it up here from the Evangel Sports Complex. Again, need everybody to come out tomorrow. Need a packed house, as Evangel will host Lighthouse for the ACSC State Championship, and that's going to wrap it up. Our time is up.